You should stop running ads without this software. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gergo, and today we have a really exciting video. I'm going to take you through and give you a demo of one of the best attribution and tracking softwares out there, Triple Whale. I just want to give you a super realistic expectation on what the platform looks like and why it is a must for direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands when it comes to advertising and basing marketing decisions based off true data. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the video. Now, we've been using Triple Whale for a year now at this point, and we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with this client on ad spend. Therefore, there's a massive difference when it comes to performance and budget allocation and the actual saved amount in ad spend when using this software. Now, just to give a little bit of insight on what Triple Whale is, basically it's an AI-based tracking software. It integrates all your payment processors, Stripe, Wise, or whatever you use, and all your paid ad accounts, email providers, and your sales funnel, and a lot more data points. Plus, it tracks the journey from the very first touch point the customer has, which is the first click from an ad. So for example, if you see right here, it's tracking the IP for this particular customer. On the very bottom, you can see that the customer viewed a page at 11:44, and about 50 minutes later, they added to cart a product, and then they viewed a page just yesterday, and then they didn't purchase that day. They viewed the page again the next day, and then they actually made a purchase today. So this is a whole customer journey for this specific customer. Now you can see that Triple is being able to track every single thing from the first touch point with like time details. And what's really cool about this is that it's able to follow IP address changes. So it knows if a customer changed devices to prevent double customer profiles or double purchases, which is pretty cool. So basically it all comes down to Triple being able to track everything that you wouldn't just simply not get from what the ad platforms provide. Now, one of the best features of this software is that it's so clean. You have all the data in one place, and this is the summary homepage, and this is just a huge scroll down page that you have different sections displaying different metrics, and you have a section for each of your traffic sources, so all the way from Facebook, Klaviyo, Google, organic, you name it. You have all it here. On the top, you have the most important metrics like pinned, like total sales, ad spend, blended ROAS, true average order value, and orders, and of course, this is relevant to the time period on the top right that you selected, and this is like a 7-day time period. And if you click on, let's say, total sales, you can see this comparison window for the selected time period, and this interface is customizable. So you can drop and drag around sections, and if you do, you're going to be changing the interface for everyone. So this is the only like interface in the whole software which is like common for everyone, whereas let's say you're changing the ads interface, that's customizable separately for each individual user. And what's also really amazing about this is that it works with something called real life data, so you don't have to wait 24 hours before the data comes into the platform. It's real time. So moving on, just to show you, it has separate channel reporting. So if you jump on store, you're going to have all your store data here, and these sections show much more detailed metrics and insights on the actual performance and overall stats. And now if you click on Facebook, for example, it will jump to all your Facebook metrics, and again, it's just really detailed data. But what makes this all happen is the Triple Whale Pixel. So what you can see right now is the ads interface under the Pixel option. Just to mention again, you see how clean it is. Like, you see the interface is like, it's unlike Hyros. Like Hyros, you cannot find anything basically. Whereas in this software, you can just easily find what you're looking for, because this, just like such an easy menu roll on the left, and it's just such a nice, cool display of the things here. So here you can see your traffic sources distributed in each row. And if you click on, let's say, Google, you'll land on the detailed ad section. Now it shows all your active and paused ad campaigns as well. But what's really important here is the comparison on the data points. So Triple Whale basically pulls out data from the ad platforms, and it also shows what its pixel is tracking. So if you take a look at here, there's the ROAS that Google reports, and here's the actual ROAS of each campaign, what Triple Whale reports. And also here's the purchases that Google reports, and here's the actual purchase number. And then there's a lot more data points, but you get the point. So it's extremely crucial to base your marketing decisions based off of true data. Now, Facebook is notorious for over-reporting, and even if you try to get the average as a benchmark, it is still unreliable and invalid data. So ad platforms have approximately anywhere between 40 to 60% accuracy, while platforms like Triple Whale have 95% accuracy. Now, just imagine killing a campaign that was showing no results, but it was actually generating positive returns. So just to show you an example, if you can see this row right here where the impression says 9,764, clicks 248, and it's showing 0 ROAS, what Google reports, but it's actually generating 0.75 return on ad spend, which is, I'm not saying that it's good because it's still below break even, but it's actually showing that there's some sales and there's some returns, right? Now, obviously the row above, which says the 52 return on ad spend, is not really valid because the spend on this campaign is really low. And it's a 7-day window period. So that's why obviously it's just skyrocketing, but it's like not really valid here. But again, if we check the third row, the third campaign from the bottom, 0.25 return on ad spend that Google reports, reports 5.24 that the Triple Whale reports. So again, it's really important to mention here that if I were to base my decisions and budget allocations based on what Google reports, I would easily kill that campaign after 3 to 4 days. Whereas if I'm scaling that campaign, I would be generating much more money according to Triple Whale, as this is bringing me 5x return on ad spend. Now, all of our clients are on Triple Whale because if you think about it, when spending thousands of dollars, even just hundreds of dollars a day, you cannot afford to make poor budget allocation decisions and just mindlessly pump your money to burn. So you need to realize right now that you must take educated decisions when it comes to your digital marketing, and how can that be done better than with true data. So if you want to sign up, I've put the link in the description below and you can get 10% off from your purchase. Now moving on, if you click on one campaign here, it's going to have a drop down section displaying both your ad sets or ad groups and the ads themselves with the creatives. And another extremely useful feature is the different attribution models. So you have a little drop down section on the top and it shows the attribution options you can choose from. And this is obviously going to differ from market to market, but I'm going to make a whole separate video on the best attribution models and when we use which one. So just stay tuned for that by clicking the subscribe button. Just to give you a little bit of idea, essentially how Triple Whale Pixel works is that it uses UTMs, which is like a piece of code that's included in the end of the destination URL that your ad points to. And this is the code right here, and it's the same for everyone. So it's not like I'm showing something classified like super secret. As you can see, you have a bunch of options to set it up for Facebook, Google, TikTok, Twitter, and a lot more platforms. And you know, Triple Whale do have automated integrations when it comes to like API with multiple platforms, like your payment processors, as I said, and your like web shops. But for the ads, it uses UTMs. So if you dive a bit more deep into how to install UTMs and actually place them into your ads, on Facebook, you need to place them on the ad level. So in each ad. So you're just going to go ahead and copy this code and paste it right here. Whereas on Google, it's enough to place it on the account level in the attribution settings. Now, just a little caveat here. If you're running YouTube ads from your Google Ad Manager, it's not enough to place the UTMs on the account level. You need to place it on every single ad. And when you're putting the UTM on the ad level when running YouTube ads, you need to place it at the end of the destination URL, separating with a question mark. So here's your URL, then you write a question mark, and with no space, you paste the UTM, and that's it. And that's how Triple will be able to separately track your YouTube ad campaigns. Now, one really important note here is that it's going to display it if you've placed your UTMs correctly, but I always advise to double check if it's tracking properly. And you can do that by opening up ad previews and actually clicking on ads. And then from there, you will just need to check whether the UTM is present in the URL. If it is, then you're all set. Now, bear in mind, Triple Whale pulls that data from your integrated platforms like your, web shop or payment processor and stuff like that. But the UTMs actually start tracking from the point they were planted in your ads. So if we move on, we have this little retention section here, which is going to be mostly focusing on your remarketing efforts. But also, if we first look at the SCDP section, which is a feature essentially letting you create custom segments, which you can track across most other areas within the platform itself. So you can, for example, track the created segments in the cohort section, in the LTV section, sales cycle, product journeys and stuff like that. So there's a lot of options here. This section basically lets you analyze that segment and compare certain segments against others to understand which segments are driving. So we have all these pre-made segments here like core, whales, promising newbies. And just to give you an example, whales would be the customers that have contributed the most amount of money and generated the most revenue for the brand and the client itself. So one use case with these segments would be that you upload, for example, whales to your Facebook and you create a lookalike audience, and then the Facebook algorithm would find potential new customers that would be spending a lot more than the average order value. So looking at this dashboard, you have a bunch of info on the audiences, like the total revenue they generated, the specific time period, what their lifetime value is, and a lot more, which unfortunately I can't show here right here. Now, bear in mind that these are dynamic audiences. So if people fall in and out of the audience size, the data will just change accordingly. Now, moving on, one of the best features of this software is cohorts. You'll be able to basically benchmark your retention efforts and measure lifetime value, which is essential for e-commerce brands. What I usually like to look at is the last 365 days, or you can look at full calendar months by going all the way back here. So just to keep it simple, let's make sure that you select month, and then you can then select the metric that you want to look at by clicking the metric here. I personally prefer to look at lifetime value, but depending on what you click, you will see that metric being reflected all the way here. So if we go to retention rate, for example, we could see the percentage of the returning customers for each cohort. And if you look at the number of customers, then we could see the number of customers. If we click this cumulative option, here's this little tick right here. It's not really visible right now. It's basically going to add the numbers up. So if you remove it, it's just going to give you the individual units for each cohort. But if you click the cumulative option, then it's like summing up the data before. And finally, you have your filters right here. So you can create a custom filter. You could filter by product, customers, even attribution. Down here here, you have your individual cohorts. So basically you have all your customers grouped in by the month that they purchase. So these are all the new customers from January, February, March, April, and so on and so forth. And it's going to give you a total number of customers and a new customer cost per acquisition for those. So again, this is just a really nice way of measuring lifetime value and just getting more data on the, like retention efforts distributed to each cohort and each month. Now, the next thing is lifetime reporting. Now, you can see that the average order value is differentiated according to the first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So for example, again, on the left, it's blurred out again because I can't show product, but you can again view by product and you can select how many products you want displayed. Now, in this case, it would be 10. And again, you can filter by segments, all customers, or any other segment you created. And basically each row here would represent like one product. And you can see that, for example, on the top line, that specific product has an 800 average order value and the 60-day lifetime value is 856. The 90-day lifetime value is 857. So basically you can easily track again lifetime values of one specific customer and really just being able to identify, even if you're losing money on the front end, you're making money on the back end, which is a really essential thing to know. And then the last thing here in retention, which I want to talk about, is the sales cycle. And again, what it's really going to be good for is optimizing your remarketing efforts, as it shows the days passed between the first, second, and third, and fourth, and however many purchases that one specific customer made in your store. So you can easily make custom segmented audiences and create educated sales cycles, and not just throwing out, oh, I just created like a 30-day window or a 90-day window and you have zero clue on what's going on. You can see right here that between the first and the second order, there's 19 days that passed, and between the second and the third order, there's 21 days passed. So you know that you need to create custom segmented audiences based off of this data when it comes to remarketing audiences. Now, the last section we have right here on the menu row is ops, and we have a really cool feature, which is product journey. And this is just, again, is a great section for your remarketing efforts. You can select data according to segments and products. And by selecting one product on the left, again, it's blurred out, obviously, but you'll get a clear idea of where your customers are going after purchasing that particular product. So this way you can fine tune your remarketing efforts when it comes to deciding what products to push first after a specific product purchase, like for the first, second, and third buyers. Now, when it comes to pricing, most of you are going to fall into one of these segments, like 500,000 to 1 million or 1 million to 2.5 million per year. And Shipible will charge us based on your company's yearly tracked revenue. I highly recommend signing up for the pro plan, regardless of which tracked revenue kind of like dimension you fall in, because you just got so many useful features in that package that are just worth the extra $100. Because if you check the growth package, which is like one under, is like just $100 cheaper. And so again, even if your yearly revenue is between 1 million and 2.5 million, you would be paying only $500 a month to save tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend. So again, it's extremely crucial to make educated marketing decisions, and you can do that by working with True Data. Now, if you want to sign up, use the link below, and again, you'll get 10% off from your purchase. Now, if you have any questions regarding the software, feel free to reach out or drop a comment below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.